can't drive it.
And out. Couldn't do it. And live, we have trouble with Danica Patrick.
Where's their car, guys?
Who hit me?
That car's junk.
Yeah, I mean, they'll definitely be unloading the backup car for Danica Patrick.
Not sure. We'll watch right here again.
You're loose.
See her back there, and here comes Denny. I think Denny dove out from behind her. She didn't realize he had moved out from behind her. She started to go left, and he was there.
Annette tries to go high, and I believe he had a push from behind. And got tangled up in it.
That
it was Knost.
Oh, my gosh. I don't know how he missed that.
And Kyle Larson in 42, just as well. You know, the thing about Danica Patrick, Michael Annette, and Jeb Burton, as far as headed into the duels tomorrow, by no means are those three drivers safe on speed or owner points.
Oh, treble turn 3.
Reckon. Go low.
Brian Scott, Danica Patrick,
Back it down. Get out of the way right
and Bobby Labonte. Here comes Austin Dillon and David Ragan to shoot through.
You're going straight, yeah, but
you're loose.
All right, watch the 11, Hamlin. Yeah. Right on the back of Patrick.
Yep.
And
just a little bump in the wrong place. Bobby Labonte, absolutely, just nowhere to go.
Boy, Ryan Newman in the 31 just barely gets through there.
But Darrell, if Hamlin slams on the brakes, Reed Sorensen in the 44 is going to run right over top of him.
What are you doing?
Danica,
seriously, you did the same thing in practice.
Honey,
you did the same thing.
I did not.
You get on my left rear and it spins me out. You did the same thing. Tighten what up? Nobody else left me with a problem.
Nobody
out there.
has your back like I have. Stop.
I
Listen to me.
So.
Listen
Denny,
to me. But I can't give you an extra 2 feet because
dude,
it's
you give me nothing. You give me nothing. It spun my back end around.
I understand. It's because you're loose. It's not my problem if you're loose, Dan.
No,
absolutely. You were loose entering the corner, so you went up the racetrack.
Because you were.
Danica.
It happened twice. The same person, the same way.
But guess what? I didn't hit you either time.
Way.
I didn't hit you either time.
Well, then apparently you don't have to actually hit me.
There, let's see what happens. 18's down on the apron. David Ragan, 18, came up off the apron and got into the left rear Danica and center spinning. The field, and watch these guys scatter. And other than Danica getting spun out, it was pretty much
goes around, and you see how quickly this speedway clogs up when things
diving to the bottom, and Danica Patrick goes for a ride into the turn 1 wall.
Yeah, we saw smoke coming from her car.
It's almost like she maybe cut a tire down.
Caution at lap 135.
And we saw this 10 car going down in front here with smoke, a little bit of smoke trailing, and the car goes around. And Larry, I think you're right. I think it's probably maybe contact with someone, cut a right rear tire down.
10 of Danica Patrick. Looks like she has damage to the right side.
To change lanes, there isn't room. He comes across the front bumper of the 15, spins him to the bottom, and it's the field very tight. You see farther back into the field, the 16 and the 10 get into the back, and the 22 spinners up across the track. And that's what happens in these tight packs. When there's a spin way up in front of the pack, everyone gets out of the gas, and it's so hard when you're only a couple feet apart.
She was running in the 28th position. She was the last car on the lead lap. By herself over in turn number 2. Take a look and a listen.
Here, guys. Coming inside here, then you're all good. No caution yet. Keep her on. Caution is up. Keep her on. All you got.
He's neutral in 1 and 2, free in turn 3.
Danica Patrick looks to have gotten into the grass.
When you can, leader is just hit 3.
Right rear damage and right front damage to the 10. She goes back out on the track. Danica was 27.
See Danica driving into turn 3.
You're loose.
Gets loose. Gets a tap from Junior. Now she went. Again, we've heard all night that Junior's had trouble with brakes. So when Danica got a little bit free, could Junior not get slowed down and he got into the back over? That could have been the issue.
Danica Patrick with damage to the right side. into the grass.
For advance, one that didn't advance was the 10 of Danica Patrick. Yesterday in practice, she had the 15th fastest time. I'm sure she was expecting to be in the top 24, at least have a shot at it, but obviously running into the wall is going to slow you down.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, she went out the second time trying to find some speed, and as we talked about, you know, it's very hard to do. And then, you know, came in after the run, and everybody's disappointed. And maybe not agreeing with how they got to where they were.
Problems for Danica Patrick.
Smoking out of the back of the 10 for Danica Patrick.
4 tires, fix the damage.
She's down on the apron.
Yeah, and it's still under green. She's staying off the race. Well, now she's coming up closer to the racing groove, throwing some tire rubber off. NASCAR will be looking at that.
Yeah, a lot of debris.
For a caution.
A lot of debris coming off the car, and I'm sure she wants to get a caution so that she doesn't lose too many laps here.
In turns 3 and 4. Goes to accelerate, car just gets away from her. She has to chase it up the racetrack and ends up with heavy contact.
Yeah, that's a backup car. Remember, Jeff, she also had an accident qualifying, so that's the second car of the weekend for Danica. This is a tough place, Rick. The lady in black doesn't care if you're running first or running 15th, and this is how easily it can happen. You see, she's just trying to get the power down, just trying to accelerate off the corner. One wiggle, but Darlington, you're already so close to the wall. There's no room to save it. A big correction. She has no choice but to turn the wheel to the right, Jeff. The car goes
into the wall, goes the 10. And 10 is hit as well as she was coming back down the track. Danica Patrick. Looked as though the 55 of David Ragan made contact with Danica as she was coming down the track. She gets the car refired. Looks like she's going to try to drive it back.
Danica on the outside of Newman.
Around she goes. Didn't look like there was contact there, but could have been earlier.
Yeah, I have to believe there was contact the way she turned around quickly. Here comes David Ragan. Nowhere to go. He did nothing wrong.
You ought to hold the damn brakes once you wreck.
After the race, both Denny Hamlin and Matt Kenseth were critical of Kevin Harvick, saying he caused the wreck to advance. NASCAR Vice Chairman Mike Helton says at this time there is no evidence Harvick did anything wrong.
A tough situation for Danica Patrick as she comes down, and the 38 stops right in front of her.
Yeah, Danica.
And now they're not going to stop. It's not over.
Danica's upset at Gilliland from early in the race. Remember, the two got together, and Danica tried to pay her back, and pay him back rather. And
probably go to the garage, I'd say.
She got the worst of it.
This is the 38 running the 10 all the way up the track, and then Danica into the wall. And now most recently,
it looks like a replay in opposite positions. The 10 gets behind the 38, runs the 38 up the racetrack.
chases the 38 up the racetrack, and then around she goes.